Welcome to Foundational Patterns. We are discussing mathematical literacy. In particular, we are in the topic of shape, space, and measurement. But then in this lesson, we want to discuss calculating the perimeter and area in two-dimensional shapes. Now let's get into it. One of the most common shapes in two dimension is the rectangle. And the rectangle tells us about the length. No, not that. We want to talk about the length. So it tells us about the length and the breadth. All right. So these are the dimensions. So these two, we call them the dimensions of the shape. So that's why we call it a two-dimensional shape. So there are a few things that we want to talk about here. First is that we want to talk about perimeter. Now what perimeter is that it is a distance around the shape. The distance around the shape. So it means it will be the distance from here to there plus the distance from there to there. So that's what perimeter is. So we know that this is the length and it will be the length as well, that side. Here we have the breadth and we'll have the breadth this side as well. So in other words, we can say perimeter will be length plus breadth plus length plus breadth. So it will give us the distance around the shape. Or basically it will be the perimeter will be 2 times the length plus the breadth. Okay. Next we want to talk about the area. I think I finished my space there. So area is basically the space inside the shape. So how much space do we have here inside this shape? So this will be what we call the area. So for us to find the area, we can simply say area is the length times the breadth. All right. So let's get into some few examples here. Now with a square, we say, remember the properties of a square is that all sides are equal in a square. So perimeter of a square will be given by, let me write it in full, say perimeter of a square will be this side plus this side plus this side here plus this side. So there are 4 sides all in total. So we simply say it's 4 times a side. All right. So when we calculate, it will be 4 times 8 centimeters. And so the perimeter will be 4 times 8. That will give us 32 centimeters. And basically you can check it if this is correct, because we can say it will be 8 centimeters plus 8 centimeters. So it will be this one, plus another 8 centimeters, this one, plus another 8 centimeters, this one. So the answer will be 32 centimeters as well. All right. Now we want to talk about the area. Area of a square is given by length times breadth. But because now the length and the square, they are equal, the length and the breadth rather are equal, we simply say the area of a square will be the side squared, because it will be the length times the length. So it is the length squared. So we simply say it is the side squared. So in this case, we'll say it will be 8 centimeters squared, which will give us 64 centimeters squared. All right. I hope it does make sense. If we deal with a rectangle, we say the perimeter of a rectangle will be given by the formula 2 into length plus breadth. All right. So in this case, we see that our length, I should have written it in full, but I guess you understand. So in this case, our length, it will be 2 open bracket, the length is 15 centimeters plus 8 centimeters, right? So this will be 2 into 15 plus 8, this will give us 23 centimeters, all right? And finally 2 times 23, this will be 46 centimeters. So this will be what perimeter is. So perimeter of a rectangle will be 15, all right, plus 8, that will give us 23, plus another 15, plus another 8, that will give us a total of 46 centimeters. Now about the area of a rectangle, we say it is length times breadth. All right. So in this case, we have 15 centimeters multiplied by 8 centimeters. All right. So this will basically be 15 times 8. That will give us 120 centimeters squared. All right. So that is basically how we calculate the area of a rectangle. Okay. Then next we look at a triangle, and we can look at some few of these triangles. So we have a right angle triangle here. It has a 90-degree angle. Now when we look into perimeter of a triangle, we go back into what we said perimeter is. Perimeter is simply when we add all the sides, so this side plus this side plus this side here. So we simply say area of a triangle will be A plus B plus C. Alright, what is A? A is 13 centimeters and B is 15 centimeters and C is 12 centimeters. So this should give us a total of 30 centimeters in terms of perimeter. All right. So for perimeter of a triangle, we don't have a special formula for it. All right, it's simply that. Then when it comes to the area of a triangle, it is given by the formula half times the base times height. Okay, so this is the formula. So when we substitute, we still maintain half times the base. The base will be this one here, which is 15 centimeters multiplied by the height. So this one here is the height, which is 12 centimeters. And therefore, we will get 30 centimeters. No, it cannot be 30 centimeters. Let me just recalculate. So it will be 15 times 6 because half of 12 is 6. All right, so this will give me 90 centimeters instead of 15, instead of 30, which was incorrect. 90 centimeters squared. All right, so I hope I didn't confuse you much here, but if you are confused, don't worry, we can deal with that next year. Another triangle that we can look into is a triangle called an isosceles triangle. As you can see here, these two sides are equal. All right, so I'll just use a different color. So in this case, we are trying to calculate the perimeter as well. So it's perimeter of a triangle is given by the formula A plus B plus C. So we are saying is this side here, it's A, and this one here we call it B, and this one here is C. So in this case, we'll have 12 centimeters plus 12 centimeters plus, no, it's 15 centimeters. 12 centimeters plus 15 centimeters plus 12 centimeters, right? So this will give us a total of, so it will be 39 centimeters. So this will give us 39 centimeters. All right. So then we say area of a triangle is still half base times height. Okay, so in this case we have half, the base is still 15 centimeters multiplied by the height. Now the height is here, which is as h, its height 8 centimeters. All right, so now we have 15 times half times 8, this will give us 60 centimeters. All right, so that's basically it about the triangles. All right, so it will give us 60 square centimeters. All right, next let's look at the circles. Now a circle, instead of perimeter, with a circle we actually calculate the circumference. So a circle has a special perimeter called the circumference. All right, so circumference is basically the distance going all around the circle. All right, now another part that we need to look at is the diameter. So the diameter is the distance from one side of the circumference through the center of the circle to the other part of the circumference. All right, now a diameter is made out of two radiuses, so it's a radius here and another radius there. All right, so the diameter is 2 times the radius. Now why is the radius important? It's because in our calculations we often use the radius instead of the diameter. So we say the circumference, now we are calculating the perimeter. Circumference will be 2 times pi times the radius, and pi will be 3,14. All right, so we'll calculate and say it's 2 times 3,14 times the radius. Now the diameter is 14 centimeters, which means the radius will be half of the diameter, which is 7 centimeters. So we'll substitute the radius here and have 7 centimeters. All right. So when we calculate that, this will give us 3,14 multiply, so this one here, then we have 2 times 7, that will give us 14 centimeters, and finally we'll have 43,96 centimeters here. All right, and now for the area of a circle is given by pi r squared. So we'll have 3,14 times the radius, which will be 7 centimeters, and we square it. So this will give us 3,14 multiplied by 7 squared will give us 49 centimeters squared, and we will have 3,14. Now we're getting to the final answer. So it's 3,14 times 49, which is 153,86 centimeters squared. All right. Now often students, what they do is, after they got 3,14 times 49, they square the 49 again. I don't know why, but please, this time around, do not make the same mistake. Next is when we are given the radius and not the diameter. All right, so if we're given the radius, so we notice that our circumference uses the radius instead of the diameter, so we take it as it is and say it will be 2 times pi times the radius, and in this case it will be 2 times 3,14 times the radius of 10 centimeters, and so the final answer becomes 62,8 centimeters. All right, so we do not have to take this one here, 10 centimeters, and divide it by 2 to get 5 centimeters. We don't need to do that because then we will be messing up. All right, we have the radius, we use the radius. If we are given the diameter, that's when we can divide by 2 to get the radius, because most of our calculations will require the radius instead of the diameter. Okay, next we look at the area of the circle. Again, we have the formula pi r squared, where we have pi is 3,14 multiplied by the radius of 10 centimeters, and we square it. So this will be 3,14 times 100 centimeters squared, and finally we'll have 314 centimeters squared as our final answer there. All right, and so I think that will be all for this lesson. If you have any other comments, complaints, or any other thing that you want us to discuss in this channel, please do leave a comment in the comment section, or alternatively you can send us an email on mlms4@foundationalpatterns.co. not.co.za, but it will be mlms4@foundationalpatterns.org.za. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you in the next lesson.